Hey guys, so I'm just doing that 'cause it's hot in here. So I didn't really know what to talk about in this week's episode of Be Real. So I asked for questions and I got 60 questions. So I've decided to do kind of half now. Some were like, maybe two people asked something so similar. So I've got it down to about 25. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. And I'm not doing it more than once, so let's get straight into it. And I am going to be looking down because I have notes. Okay, so I'm sorry if I say anyone's name wrong as well. Betsy RV, sorry honey if that's wrong. Is there a bag you can't get out of your mind? Yes, the reissue, the Chanel reissue in distressed calfskin with ruthenium hardware in the 226 size. Do you like anything from the Gucci collection right now? I love Gucci. There are certain things that I think are too of the moment for me to buy, but I admire them. I love the Ace sneakers, I have those. I love the Marmont hardware, so I have a belt and a little card case. I wouldn't really buy, there isn't a bag that I'm crazy about. Like I love the 80s throwback stuff like the Ophidia, is it? But I don't think I'd buy it. But what I really am going to get next, oh, and I love the Brixton loafers. They're just the best shoes ever. But the next thing I'm going to get is another belt. I really want a thinner belt, and they do it in that kind of raw, natural, unfinished tan with the smaller GGs, and I think that would look good with white jeans and a navy top or something, just really classic, really summery. So that's definitely my next Gucci thing. Dexter Park says, hi B, what are your travel plans for the rest of the year? And part 2, have you ever thought of trying out the Trini London makeup? So for travel plans, I actually spent, this is why I'm so late filming this, because normally it's up by now. I spent a while researching villas in either Italy or France today, and I think we're going to rent a villa in either by the Amalfi Coast or actually on Sicily. I've visited a few sites. I found a site where the balance between price and it still being quite nice was just right, and there's good availability. So probably a villa in Europe for a week when the kids first get out of school, and then we'll do something in the UK, whether it's we've got this new car that's really big, so we could drive further. So we thought we could drive, we've got family in Yorkshire, my husband's brother and his wife, and they have a 1.5-year-old that we've never met. That's another story for another day, but like we need to visit them. We haven't seen them much since they moved up there. So I thought we could combine that with going to Scotland to have like a city break in Edinburgh and maybe spend a day with my friend Andrew. So I think, and maybe Ed was saying on the way back, the lakes for a couple of days. We love the Lake District. So, and then probably camping for a couple of long weekends. So that's the plans. And then we always go away in the autumn. If we can get the kids and the dogs sorted out, we usually go away around Ed's birthday, just the two of us. We went to Venice last year, and this year he fancies going back to Rome because he loved that so much, and so did I. But also on the short list is Dublin and Barcelona. We were supposed to go to Barcelona last time and it fell through because there was all that unrest and the protests and stuff in Barcelona, so we went to Rome instead. And I also want to do some, I've got loads of girlfriends that want to do some trips and stuff. So, oh, and I'm supposed to be going, you remember I was supposed to go to LA to visit my friend? Well, her schedule's just really crazy. They're living in like a service apartment temporarily while they look for a house. They've now bought a house, but it's a wreck. So instead of going on my own, I think we're going to wait, and like the October half term, we're going to go for a week to LA as a family. So that's quite a lot. And the second, the Trini London. I love Trini. I love when so somebody pointed out that she was back and she was on YouTube, just in her bathroom talking about skincare, also doing a lot of like styling stuff and fashion stuff. I really enjoy her. The makeup, when I found out she was doing a range, I was really excited. But then when there's two things. First of all her makeup is a little clear. They're like the travel pots that you put makeup in, and they sort of screw together so that you can have like a stack. And I don't know why, but that just doesn't really appeal to me. Part of the fun of makeup for me is the packaging and everything. I don't know. And also when you're looking at the face and base products, they have spent a lot of time and effort on it, but I looked at the colour matching process because it's all online, and I just didn't have the confidence that I was going to choose the right skin tone. I'm not very good at looking at a picture of someone else and going, that's the same as me, you know? So I think when I would try a new brand, I need to be colour matched by someone. So I don't know if there's a store. If there's a store, I would definitely go in there and play with the products, because a lot of them look really good, but they're all just creams. There's nothing powdery, and you just kind of stick your finger in them and do that smudgy thing. And I kind of have that with Glossier, so there isn't really a gap in my makeup collection, but you know, I'm open to it. At my lovely friend Ashley, BMW A5H said, what would your dream yummy mummy car be? Well, we've talked about this before. Now, when people say dream, I take that as license to just venture out into the realms of total fantasy. So the other day, Bentley SUV went past me, and it was very nice, but I'd be too scared to drive it. So let's just rule that one out. I like the Porsche, not the Macan, even bigger than that. Cayenne? Yeah, I like that. I like the Discovery, the big 7-seat Discovery, and I also love a Rangy. I know people say they're flashy and all the rest of it. I think realistically, I would go a size smaller. Ed has got a Volvo. It's the biggest Volvo you can get. It's got 7 seats in it. So I'm the one that has the little running around car. I don't really do motorway driving and stuff. So I think I've got a while to run on my current lease. I love my Fiat 500X, but I think next time I'm ready to go up a notch. So I think the Discovery Sport or the Evoque are probably, God willing, if I'm lucky, not being entitled, my next car. Dexter Park again says, can I add, what are your thoughts on the Datejust 31mm, please? I think he saw that I was wearing it. So this is my Datejust. This is the same size. It's like the medium size watch that I had before in the two-tone, but I didn't mind the gold on the strap, but I didn't really like the gold face on me. I felt it was too much gold. I like my gold a lot more than I used to, but like I'm picky about what it is. So this is just all stainless steel, has Roman numerals, and the face is mother of pearl, but I requested a very grey, and so they said that it would be quite tricky to get something so specific. But they ordered 2, and one, the mother of pearl, was very pink. She sent me pictures, and so I went with this one because I love grey as my main neutral. I just love grey. I love white, I love grey. I don't particularly love black or cream. That's my thing. What do I think of it? I'm really glad. I've had my wobbles since I got it near the beginning. Well, I was a bit bigger then as well, about the size, because I know that it's very fashionable to have the 30, they didn't, I used to have a 34, and that was a really great size. I think they're like 36, 38, 41. The oversized watches on even people with very slim, delicate wrists is just not for me. For me, if I'm only ever gonna have one super high-end watch. I really enjoy my fashion watches like Daniel Wellington. I've had some nice Armani watches and stuff, and I love the Clues watches that I learned about from Have Louis Will Travel. But for my one good watch, I just wanted it to be classic, but I don't mean classic right now, I mean long-term classic. And I think that the big man-sized watches on girls is not necessarily a permanent thing, and I think it looks great with streetwear, you know, designer tees, sneakers, jeans, but I don't know about a 38mm watch, even on me, and I'm chunky, with a dress in the evening. It's just not my style. So that's what I think about that. I think Rolexes are great timepieces. I know some people think, just like with Range Rovers, it's a bit of a cliche. For me, I've always been drawn to iconic things in popular culture, like that are just familiar, and there's just that recognition factor. I was first aware of Rolex on the Wimbledon boards, information boards on the courts. You see the crown, and I was always like, what is that? What is that? And my dad said, oh, it's this really amazing Swiss watches. So just the shape of the fluted bezel and everything about it has always been something that I'm like drawn to. And when we finally got Rolexes about, I don't know, 8 years ago, like I've just never looked back. So, but I've always just had one at a time, and then I've part exchanged them with my jeweler, which is Mallory in Bath, for another one. This is a real keeper. I just find it really easy to wear with everything, gold and silver jewellery and whatever, and I'm much happier with this than my previous one. Stella Natural Ray, who's a great friend of mine, says, hi my friend, I love this Be Real thing. Thank you. What makeup skincare are you currently coveting? And I've put here anything hydrating. So I'm coveting my own skincare that's in my bathroom, because at the moment I'm using the Abaji system for 3 months to correct some things that are problem areas for me on my skin. And I think my little one's going to come in here, but I'm just going to carry on. Yes, dear? Where's Daddy?
In the garden with my sister.
He's in the garden with your sister?
Yeah.
Can you just go to them while I finish this? He's supposed to be watching you.
No, I can't. Hurt him. My leg is going to get cold.
You need me to come and open the gate?
Yeah.
Okay, hang there, guys. I'm not joking when I say be real. That's how we roll. In terms of what I'm coveting, so my face feels kind of slightly aggravated when it's been sunny, even though I'm wearing SPF 50. Oh, I just ran up the stairs. I hung out washing today, and even that bit of sun on my skin, my cheeks feel, I've got quite a lot of makeup on to make me look like acceptable. So I'm coveting anything hydrating. I'm coveting like a luxury facial in a salon. I'm coveting loads of La Mer products. Like I keep seeing people talking about how great the eye cream is. I think I've had a sample of that before, and I just used it for a week, and it was just, my skin felt so smooth here. The serum, there's a serum and an oil that are really lovely that I've tried before, and then just the cream. The idea of just putting the thickest layer of that La Mer on my skin at the moment just feels like absolute heaven. So when the Abaji finishes, I am all over it. Daniel Melb, hi. Someone I chat to a lot. What do you think of the Vuitton bag called the All-In? Do you admire it? Does it have any real obvious flaws in your opinion? So I wasn't familiar with this, so I looked it up. So I'm just talking about pictures from the LV website. I haven't handled it. It looks great. It looks like a cross between, it's very Neverfull-ish, and it also looks a bit like my Totally, in that it has a zip at the top for those who don't like the open top of a Neverfull. He said about, are there any obvious flaws? It's like a carrier bag has definite edges, side seams. It has those, and I probably assume they're glazed. So to me, you don't have like the end of it. Let's just get my favourite bag this week. Do you see how this seam is just, the canvas has been turned in and sewn inside, and then they've put binding there to kind of neaten it all up. That gives a nice fluid shape, whereas this bag has got like a pleated, not pleated, like a pinched edge, and I'm not sure if that would, if you stuffed it quite a lot or just opening the bag up, I don't know if that would be a weak point in the future. And I don't know if, I was saying this to my friend on the phone today, that like when Louis Vuitton in particular, and maybe some other designers, when they come out with a completely new style, I tend to think it's a good idea to hang back and let other people try it out and then see what the feedback is when people have had it for a while, because you just never know how these things hold up over time. But it's a nice monogram kind of bucket shaped bag like the Neverfull, and it's got nice thick vachetta straps like my Totally, so it might be good for people who have certain bugbears with the Neverfull. Freya Bidwell asks, help, I've spilt clear, thank goodness, lip gloss on the inside of my Neverfull. On the whole, all my bags are in amazing shape, but do you have any tips or tricks on how to keep your bags gleaming inside and out? Right, in particular with the Neverfull, and most people, I don't know if people know this or not, the way that this is such a simple shape, it's exactly the same on the inside and the outside. So what I do, not very often, because I think it stresses the canvas a little bit when you're forcing it, but you can completely turn a Neverfull inside out without distorting it. And I, especially with this one, I got this out for the first time and there were a few marks on the sides and on the base, so I turned the bag completely inside out. I use something for hand washing, like knitwear. I make a bowl of hot, warm water with that, and I have a clean, never used blue or white like bathroom sponge, and I gently use the soapy water to literally almost hand wash the inside of my Neverfull, and then I leave it like that, turned upside down over a nice towel to air dry. Now, there are probably more people who I'm wondering what I'm thinking Minx for All is probably like, what? I don't know, like, don't do that. Maybe there's a reason why I shouldn't be doing that. And I'm not telling anyone else to do that. That's just what I do on both of my Neverfulls, like once a season, to really clean, because there's like a seamed edge at the bottom and it gets dusty, and just to really refresh it. And then on the outside, I wipe the bag and the leather down with a not unfragranced baby wipe periodically, because I find that vachetta, don't mind patina, but vachetta gets grubby where your hands grab it from oils and things on your hands. So that's what I would do, and I would do it gently. I would never scrub canvas on the outside because you can rub the pattern off. And what else do you say? Yeah, I just think the other how to keep your bags clean is to, if you change your bags daily, you're not going to clean your bags every time you switch out. But I tend to fall into a routine of using a big bag and a small bag kind of in tandem for about a week, and then I have a complete switch out. And Sundays are those days for those, unless you're on a day trip or something, Sundays for me are those ideal days to do things like tidy out your makeup bag, and switch out some products from your drawers into the makeup bag, switch out your bag, and I just make sure that I don't put them away unless I think they're in good nick. So I will often just shake the bag gently upside down for any little bits that have kind of gone into the bag. I mean, I wouldn't like put snacks and things that have got crumbs or drinks in like one of my Chanel bags, but sometimes in a Neverfull I do. So I would just try and spot clean before things build up. As I said, unfragranced baby wipes are good, or just a soft dry cloth. It really depends on the manufacturer's guidelines and on the materials that you're using, that you're looking at. For example, my Mulberry bags, well, not so much the Anthony, but my small zipped Bayswater or mini zip Bayswater, I used that a lot over the winter, and I did a lot of care on that with leather cream and stuff to feed the leather, because it felt like very dry and not over dyed enough, like the colour's quite thin. So I've definitely done a lot of TLC on that. But you just have to maybe test a small area before you use any products on anything, so that maybe on the base of the bag, so that if it doesn't suit it very well, you haven't put it all over. With Chanel particularly, they don't endorse any leather creams or anything, but I think especially if you've got like a vintage Chanel, you might want to use something. I would say with Chanel, I would err on the side of caution and send my bag somewhere to get like sparred or whatever. I wouldn't start using leather cream or anything like that personally on my Chanels. I just look after them, and they don't seem to dry out, and I would maybe use a damp, an unscented baby wipe if I felt that there was like sticky marks from the kids or something on it. I hope that helps, and I hope you're able to get the lip gloss out. As I said, just instead of really scrubbing at that lining, do it, try and lift it with the sponge, and then maybe let it dry, and then do it again. Just take your time and do it gradually rather than over soaking. You don't want that to get really, really wet. Princess Paupière says Louis Vuitton Mono, Damier Ebene or Azul, which is your favourite colour? But she's then put interior. So I don't really know what you mean, but I'll do it for each. With Louis Vuitton, with Monogram, I like the classic kind of brown canvas interior. I don't like the rose ballerine or the fuchsia interior with Mono. That's just my opinion. With the Damier Ebene, I like the classic red. Because I haven't had much luck with red bags, I like that you just really see with the Neverfull, you see the red, and that's enough of a red bag for me for the winter. But I absolutely love Damier Ebene with rose ballerine. It's the only print that I like rose ballerine on the inside, because the contrast is just really nice. And next to the Monogram or the Azure, I think that the pink looks really cheesy to me, and I like it with the Ebene. I'd love to get another Neverfull with the pink interior, but I just can't justify two Neverfull MMs in the same print, and that's why I got an SLG, the little coin purse with Damier Ebene with the pink on the inside, and I absolutely love it. It looks really fresh and really surprising next to that rich brown. With the Azure, I just like the classic. I know it's light and you have to keep it clean, but I just think that looks so classic. Is it worth buying Azure for the few weeks we get a summer? Colour transfer, etc. So my two Azure main kind of pieces or bags are my Neverfull GM and then the Pochette Accessoire, which has got the long Eva strap on it. I actually think that this is no different to the other canvases. I mean, I've got opinions on, I think the Monogram is the most sturdy canvas because not all of the surface is printed. You will notice on the edges of Azure and Ebene, you will notice the pattern rubbing off within a season of wear. But I'm not that fussy about that because I don't think it shows unless you're looking for it. I've only had this for 2 years and yeah, the corners, a lot of the navy blue is completely kind of rubbed off, but it looks okay because you still just have canvas underneath. You haven't got, like with Ebene, you can get red showing through. Things to look out for. The canvas, I think, is just as easy to clean as any of the other canvases. If I had a bit of denim colour transfer here and I've managed to clean it up by using a soapy sponge, as I've described before, because a baby white wasn't enough. Where you get grubbiness on Azure pieces is stitching, can go a bit dark here, and then this cotton kind of tape that you get around the zips. You know, if that gets gradually dingy, it's not like you could put this in the washing machine. You have to gently hand clean these pieces and just get the best result that you can get. I would also say that when you first get an Azure piece, the leather looking so white and this looking so white, it looks very, very summery. But the contrast I really enjoy when this gets a bit darker, and I would say that because it's navy or a kind of a light navy and then a kind of beigey cream, I think this is fine for quite a lot of the year. I mean, I personally wouldn't really reach for it in the winter because I have a very fixed colour palette sometimes in my mind, but I've been using this, again, I got this out in a couple of times in March and April, so even though we don't get great weather here, I would say March, April, May, June, July, August, half the year at least, I use my two main Azure pieces. I used to have a Speedy 30 without the bandolier, and that did worry me because I could only hold the top handles even when it was brand new, and they got really grubby, and I found that not particularly practical, so in the end I sold that. But these two, I think they're really practical. You've just got to keep an eye on the lining because it's such a, you know, white lining, and just look after it, but not in a fussy way. Wow, we're going to be here for a long time. Okay. Chateau Chic asks, hi B, what are your current number 1 handbag, number 2 jewellery, number 3 clothing, wish list items I look forward to watching? Thanks for your question. Number 1, I have a few handbags on my wish list, but the one kind of 100% is the Chanel reissue, as I said already. Also the MCM mini backpack, the one when you can make the strap crossbody like the Palm Springs mini. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the Palm Springs mini that I just don't like. The shape of it, the way it's like very thick and that slope, and then the zips at the front, to my eye it's just like, I've never liked any of the Palm Springs out of the 3 sizes. So a lot of people, I've had a couple of snarky comments when I've mentioned it on Instagram of people saying, oh, you just want the MCM because you can't afford the Palm Springs mini. Well, yeah, I can, I just would like something different. So I definitely want the MCM mini backpack, but I haven't actually looked at it in person or tried it on, so you know, I'm open about that. But the reissue is definite. Number 2, jewellery. There's not anything really desperately calling me. I mean, long term, I would love to have a pair of the Van Cleef and Arpels little flower earrings, probably in the black or the white, and like mother of pearl or whatever they are. And I still don't have my diamond studs. Ed got me diamond studs for Christmas, but they were like microscopic, which makes me sound like a complete sport brat. But it was a mistake. He ordered them and just clicked on them and didn't realise there was a drop box. So he got the tiniest ones and they just didn't show up on me. But we haven't found any that are really just right. So I think he'll surprise me with them in the future. And I think they are a classic thing that works for everyone. And then last, what was it, clothing. I don't really often crave clothing in terms of like high-end clothing. I more prefer to buy lots of pieces that are high street and then sort of go through them and maybe not keep them for that long, season to season. But one thing that might count, and also when you say clothes, I'm more of a shoes thing. Clothes to me, I like clothes, but I don't like obsess over an item. Probably because I'm a bigger girl, I've never really, designer clothes have not been accessible to me. But there is one thing, and that is a Burberry cashmere scarf in the baby pink and grey. I think it's called Giant Check or something. I'm definitely going to add that in the autumn, because I've got too many of those big square shawls. I'm not going to buy any more. I think I would like one, probably just one, or maybe I've got my aubergine kind of, what's it called, raisin, the acne long scarf, and they are easier to throw on long scarves when it's really cold as well. That's what I want. That one, and I've got a navy blue Burberry one, but it is getting a bit tired. I've had it for maybe 10 years plus, so I'd like to add the pale pink check one, and then I'd like to get a charcoal grey wool scarf, maybe Acne, maybe another brand. So I don't know if that counts as clothes. Sally Sparkle, hello Sally, says your all-time favourite / lust after outfit, shoes and bag accessories. So this is stuff I'm assuming that I don't have, and I've put here my fantasy outfit is to wear like a Chanel tweed jacket, round neck, kind of short, don't know what colour, probably black or grey or like cream with the flecky black bits in it, with distressed jeans, but distressed jeans that just fit you. Everything about them is your ideal. Like, I imagine the jeans, and they exist. They're soft, they're old, they've got a few bits of distressing, but not like ripped knees. They're cropped-ish, and the bottom is kind of all frayed and maybe a stepped hem, but they just fit like as comfy as tracksuit pants. That is my dream combo. And then like a really beautifully fitting white t-shirt underneath, Chanel flap bag, or if we're going to go fantasy, a Kelly, a dark grey Hermes Kelly in like a soft leather, not stiff. And what would I wear on my feet? I'd wear Chanel espadrilles in this fantasy outfit because they don't fit me, and they're probably the most beautiful shoes I've ever seen. So there's my fantasy outfit. And my go-to outfit in real life, my be real outfit, like I'm wearing like khaki linen shorts that are really creased now, but for your benefit I've put on a nice blouse. My go-to outfit is jeans, trainers, designer or like nice Adidas ones, a nice t-shirt or sweatshirt depending on the time of year, and then like nice accessories. That's my go-to. And then she's being greedy because she says if I could only have 3 bags, 3 SLGs. The thing about answering that is I could answer it now in the moment, but the next week I could think, oh, I should have said that. So off the top of my head, my 3 bags that I can't live without would be some sort of Chanel flap bag. I'm not going to get more specific than that. My wallet on a chain and my A Speedy. But then I wouldn't have an Everfull. Oh, it's too hard. 3 SLGs, I just can't. Like, I love all my SLGs. My favourite Louis Vuitton SLGs. I did that Forever Pieces tag. I got really trolled on that video, so I did take it down, sadly. But I would say this is definitely a forever piece. And one of my all-time favourite SLGs. And I don't know about my Chanel ones because I like all the stuff I've got. Motions in Manolos, hi there, says, how do you keep yourself sane when you're on Ban Island or saving up for a big item that you really want? Well, do I keep myself sane is what you should be asking, and probably not. I don't drive myself nuts like I used to a few years ago. I've definitely kind of, growing out of it is patronising to people who still get that lust for things, and I do. It's not that I've grown out of it, it's just that with other things going on, I just sometimes find that I can put it on the back burner. I really desperately want a few things, but I can't do anything about it often in the short term, so I just go, well, whatever it is, what it is, and maybe use smaller purchases to kind of refresh what I've got. Shopping your closet is a really good way, really revisiting, really recycling, like switching out your bags, using everything, switching out your outfits, making that little bit more effort to coordinate your accessories and change your jewellery every day, just stuff like that. Really playing with what you've got sometimes can keep you going in between those big purchases that you're saving for. And just keep focusing on the goal. So sometimes, like with this reissue, I've known for quite a while that I really do want it. I don't taunt myself with it and drive myself mad, but I do enjoy watching videos and reviews and things, and I just find it delicious thinking that will be mine. I'm making an intention that that will be mine one day. Great question. Okay, Indie Boo 5 says, what is the one handbag purchase you were the most excited about to buy, regardless of if you still have it or not? they're all my firsts, so I would say equally in different ways. When I went to Barcelona when I graduated nursing school, we went into Louis Vuitton and Burberry, and I chose this Burberry bag. That was really exciting. My dad got that for me, and at the time I thought that would be like my one designer bag. We know how that one, but probably even more so, it's a toss-up between my first LV piece, so I wasn't expecting it. It wasn't planned. We were in London. We were going to Paris the next day. We went to watch Wicked that evening, and I remember I had my bag. Oh no, I had it all wrapped up in the Louis Vuitton packaging at my feet, taking up. There's not much space, is there, in the theatre anyway. So I got my crossbody, I don't have it anymore, my Solange or Salon, and I looked at it in Bond Street, and then we went to Selfridges, and Ed went off to get some Paul Smith shoes, and I didn't know what to do, so I just went into Louis Vuitton. It was in like a little separate little glass store then inside and on the ground floor. And I went in there and I just thought, let me see it again without Ed stood there and really look at it and see how much I like it. And I actually said to the lady that served me, could you write the details of this bag down? Because they didn't have such a good website then, if they had any at all. Could you write these details down? And I just thought I'd give it to him, and in like 5 years or something, if he was having, I don't know, got a tax rebate or something, he might treat me, but he doesn't really do things like that. Anyway, he came in and tapped me on the shoulder and said, oh, you're looking at that bag again? And I was like, oh. I mean, they weren't so expensive then. I remember it was £410, which you can hardly get an SLG for now. And he just said to the woman, we'll take it. So that was an exciting moment, because I had that kind of, huh? That was pretty exciting. And we went to Paris and I had a Louis Vuitton bag. I did ruin that bag the first day by letting it rub on indigo jeans that had never been washed. And I never got the blue out completely, but that moment was so great. And then the other one is when I went to New York with Ed and Martha, when Martha was about 4 or 5, and I got my first ever Chanel bag, because I knew we were going to get it there, and I was in disbelief until I had it in my hand. I was like, this is just not going to happen. It's too good. So those are my most exciting ones, and they've never been matched since. And she also asks, if you had a time machine and could go back in time, what would you change and why? These are getting deep now, these questions. If you could go to the future, what would you like your life to be like? Well, in short, because we're already at like half an hour. If I could go back in time, I wasted a big chunk of my life. Now, some people say you never waste time, so you learn. My life, to me, I really began to enjoy my life when I met Ed. I'd never been in love before. I'd never been in a relationship really before properly. And I feel like being part of a team, part of a family just really suits me. And I was very disenfranchised and out on my own before that. I come from quite a dysfunctional, broken family, and I felt really alone in the world all my life before that. So I was paralysed by fear and indecision, and I just never did anything bold and never took risks. I always did whatever was the easiest path in front of me. And then I decided to go to nursing school because I was waiting for this epiphany of what you're going to do with your life. And I thought, do you know what? That epiphany might never come. I just need to do something and stick to it, and that'll make me feel good about myself. So I signed up and did my paediatric nurse training. And that was the first thing where I thought, I'm really get up every day, even when it was hard, I'm really doing something really good with my time. I'm really achieving something, I'm giving something back. And my self-esteem began to really improve. But I was 26 or 20, how old was I? I was 25 or 26 when I started that course. And from the ages of 17 to 26, I just flitted about. I didn't really travel extensively. It's not like I used my freedom. When I see people now, like I follow a couple of the people on Instagram, like young dancers from Strictly, or sports people, or people just starting out in the media or doing this kind of thing but on a different level, and I'm like, wow, they've got real drive. I just didn't really know what to do with myself, and I didn't like myself. I didn't really know who I was anyway, so I wasted a lot of time, and I do regret that, although regret is like, what is the point? I haven't got a time machine. And then what would I like my life to be in the future? Quite simply, whatever happens, wherever life takes us, if we go and live in the States or we don't, there's things that we think about all the time. All I want is for my kids and my husband and me to be healthy. You know, I worry a lot about, I am a worrier. Like, hello, I've got anxiety disorder. I worry about cancer and things coming and robbing us of our happy life, and or some sort of disaster. And that sounds really negative, but I'm just being honest. Like, if in the future we just all manage to keep together for as long as possible as a family and everyone's basically okay, that's all I want. Bub 777 says, what's the best and then the hardest thing about being a mummy? The best thing is the love. You know, you think you've got like a certain amount of love and you've got to split it and share it around. It just multiplies. So I really love my husband. I thought I could never love anyone as much as I love Ed, even though he's a pain in the ass. Bless him. I love the kids in a different way, like on a whole other level. And then the second one comes along and we both thought, how is it going to be? Is it going to be as special? Because you go from not being a parent to being a parent with your first, so your whole world changes. But it felt the same again. It felt as massive the second time. So the best thing is just the love and watching them grow and watching these people become their own people that you've made is just absolutely mad. I can't get my head around it. The worst thing, or the hardest thing, is the lack of spontaneity. Hello, Trouble. She's back again. I'm talking to the people, so don't get in front.
Okay.
Do you want to say hi very quickly? No, they can't see you there. Hello. Off you go and play. Can you close the door? Because I can't think straight. Good girl. Love you. No peace. That's why I try and do this when there's nobody here. Saturday evening is not ideal. The hardest thing is the lack of spontaneity. Ed and I didn't have very long together as a couple before we had Martha, and you know, there was probably only about 6 months or a year, I can't remember, and part of that time I was like pregnant, when, you know, you could just go to the movies, we ate out all the time, we went away for the weekend all the time, and then that all changes when you have a child. And the other thing is like, she's come in here a few times when I'm doing this. What's hard sometimes is that you can't just do what you want and think about yourself. Maybe I'm quite a selfish person, but you always have to put them first ultimately. And that, I think, is the root of my low self-esteem issues, in that I'll be honest and say this, and she does sometimes watch my videos, but she knows that I feel like this, is that my mum was very young when she had me, and just her personality makeup, she never did that. She's maybe part of me is a bit like her, but she's very egocentric from her point of view, and never, you know, if she wanted to go shopping on Oxford Street all day, then that's what we were doing. Even when I was tiny, I remember being really bored and whinging and then being shouted at for being naughty. But I've got these memories of being dragged around the shops like all day. I would never do that to my kids. I just do what if they're bored of it, we leave, or, you know, so you can't just think about yourself and do what you want. Sometimes that's hard, and I love travelling and like the logistics of going away. Like, I'd love to go and visit Sally, my friend.
Mummy.
No, love, please, I need to do this now.
Mummy,
it's not fair.
Mummy, we're looking for the monster.
I don't know where the monster is. Can you go
Mummy,
let Mummy do this, please?
Mummy, it's monster up the attic.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Close the door. Don't come in again.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I'm just leaving this in because this channel is called, well, I should change the whole channel name to be real. Yeah, you can't just, you know, you have to we've got dogs as well, you have to get someone to mind the house and the dogs. You have to get someone to have the kids, but like, it's actually really difficult to look after my kids because there's, you know, the dogs have to be walked in the morning, and the Cece gets up at 6, and one person on their own can't really do it. Like, we find it hard if one of us is not here. So for us to go away for the weekend takes loads of planning, like 4, 5, 6 months in front. That is annoying. I would love to have a full-time nanny and housekeeper in Fantasyland, where we just are like we know we can work and travel and stuff, and the kids are just sorted. But that's not my life. Andrew's World. Hello, Andrew. I love her to bits. Do you ever plan to go back to nursing? No, in a word. Various reasons. I loved certain aspects of the job, but the NHS is even worse now than when I left it. I think my stress levels, my anxiety, I can't hack working in an NHS paediatric unit, and the politics and all the crap that goes along with actually looking after children. I can't handle it. But I loved I never did anything like ICU, intensive care or anything really cutting edge. I didn't want to go up and up into management. I just wanted to be a children's nurse, and I loved looking after babies and children, and that when you went home after your shift, they were doing a little bit better, or if it was like day case surgery, you'd bring them in, you'd take them to theatre, you'd recover them, and you'd send them home, and they were fine. Like, I loved that, and I do miss that. And what is your dream job, she also asks. Blimey, this is going to be a long video. My dream job, I just don't know. I've never found my calling. I'm happy with looking after my family, but for me as an individual, that's partly why I do this little hobby, to have something that's just about what I'm interested in. Dream job, I don't think it's achievable at this point, and people might say, well, that's not true. I love it when you see people do something creative that's their passion and they make it into a job. So I would love to have a small collection of handbags and SLGs, just accessories, maybe travel wear, because I'm a fan of that stuff, and we all learn, don't we, through trial and error, what would be like our version of the ultimate things, and I would do it in beautiful leather. I would have it all made in England, and I would have it at prices that were not cheap, but because of the craftsmanship and because of the costs of making it. Someday Shabby, hello, says, when are you next in London? In about a week and a half or 2 weeks, like the middle of May, for the day to meet a friend, and I hope you're going to be there too, Shabby. What do I think of the ugly trainer trend, and which ones would I wear? Great question. I like some of them. I think it is a trend. You know my feeling on trends. I try to admire from afar and not go there, because I'm not into being a fashion victim, or everything being just like, it's like someone stood there naked and someone's thrown everything from this season at them. I can't afford it. I can't justify it. And I don't really think that that's finding your own sense of style, but I digress. But there are some that I think look really nice. I think the Balenciaga, I think the Balenciaga ones look nice, but a couple of people told me they're very heavy. That puts me right off, because sneakers are meant to be comfy to wear all day long. So if they're heavy or clumpy, I don't like the runway ones. I'm sorry if anyone out there's got them. They're too kind of blingy in a slightly naff way for me, with a big gold bit at the back, and that's just not me, but I'm sure they suit the people that choose them. And I don't even know if they really count as the ugly trainers. The Archlight ones, I just don't know. I haven't seen them in person, but in pictures from certain angles, they look nuts. But then I've got a friend, Motions in Malono, who's got them, and you see her stories, and she's got black leggings on with them, and they just look great. So I just don't know. I think you have to try them, and you have to think to yourself, would you be prepared to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds, up to 1,000, on trainers that next year are going to be totally out of fashion? Because let's face it, that's the situation. For me, the ones that I've seen that I like the best are the Acne Manhattan ones, and they are like white, and they've got like navy blue suede. So there's not too much going on them. They're chunky, but they don't look that ugly to me. So those are the ones that I like. I'd rather buy Chanel tennis shoes and look like an 80s, 90s throwback than go with the ugly trainer thing. I think that's more me. Mix Crawford, hello Mix, says, what do you do when you have some me time? Also, please can you recommend a good facial serum and eye cream for dry and aging skin? Me time, soak in the bath, watching YouTube videos, watching a movie in the living room with candles on and stuff on my own, let me stress, because also I don't have to compromise about what I want to watch. Go and have a facial or a massage at a salon. So there's lots of things I like doing. Shopping, but that's not really for relaxing. And then a good facial serum and an eye cream. I would say that the ultimate eye cream that I'm just desperate to try is the La Mer ice cream. Failing that, the Advanced Night Repair in the little brown pot from Estee Lauder is really good. Serum, I've got two here. One is this Clarins Double Serum. I really miss using this because I'm not using it at the moment. It's really good, and you get that instant, your skin feels velvety, silky soft, really nourishing. It's got 2 parts, and then when you pump it, they mix, and you just tap it on. It feels really luxurious. Really recommend the Clarins Double Serum. And for straight up hydration, everything in the Clinique Moisture Surge range is really good. There are masks and things I'll talk about in a minute, but the Supercharged Concentrate you can use as a serum. If you've got like an anti-aging serum that you like because it's got all this high-tech stuff going on, but it's not particularly moisturising, you could put a layer of that on too. Birdie Burke says, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? I've really thought about this. I just can't think of anything, and I think if I answered this question it would be contrived. I'd be making it up. Also, the Australian Gold, oh, she's given me a recommendation for sunscreen. One thing I would say, and I don't think it's one piece of advice I've been given, I think it's things that people have alluded to, different people at different times, but there's like a general theme, and that is that before Ed, there were a couple of people that I really liked, and when I first started hanging out with them, I was just too, because when you're a girl and you wait a long time to find someone that you really like, and that doesn't happen, when you meet someone you can go from 0 to 100 in like 1 second, and most guys that is going to make them freak out and disappear. So when I met Ed, we lived in the same house, we were both lodgers in the same house, and lots of my friends were like, if you really like him, take it easy, take a chill pill, let him come to you, don't chase. And I did do that. I really controlled myself. I made myself really busy with friends. I travelled a lot and would disappear for like a week, 2 weeks, went to Spain, and it just then it gave him the opportunity to miss me, and our relationship grew, and he was a complete commitment for him who'd never lived with a girl or anything. So that's good advice that I would pass on. Don't be needy, remain your own person, don't drop all your friends because you want to be with your man 24/7. Do your own thing and still be your own person, and if you know, they'll still be there if they really want you. Coco Supernova, hello my love. She says, my question is, could we please do a trip overseas? Where would you like to go? Yeah, I'm up for that. I've put here Marrakesh, that'll be fun with you. Can you imagine you and me on a camel? New York, we could go to New York and see all our friends who are over there, like MJ and Nettie. That would be pretty awesome. Nettie, and speaking of Nettie, Nettie's World for You says, what's your favourite date night thing to do with Ed? Well, there's two things that we really like to do together, and we like to do them as a combo, and that is cheeseburger and cinema. Cheeseburger and movie night we really enjoy. Thank you for throwing shoelaces at me. Can you go out, please? I asked you to look after her.
Downstairs. Downstairs.
I hate my children, can I just say?
Blah.
Bye. I need a drink. I'm going to go downstairs and make a gin and tonic after this. Or I'm going to open a bottle of Whispering Angel and drink half of it tonight, which is so not on the diet. Anyway, I digress. I'm thinking out loud. There's not much to go now. And oh my god, we've been here forever. I just thought it was good to do them all in one go rather than split them over 2 videos. So I hope you like this. You might have to digest it in manageable portion sizes. Pink 344 Light asks, what's your favourite thing to do if you have a rainy afternoon to yourself, no plans or responsibilities? So that's similar to the other question about what would I do with like quiet time, but a rainy afternoon, I'm thinking a cup of tea, I'm thinking a book, I'm thinking a fire. Baking. I like to bake while watching cheesy old films on my iPad in the kitchen, like You Got Mail, that kind of thing. And then K-Style TG, K-Style TG says, hi B, I love this series, thank you. If I'm not too late, no you're not, because here we are. Could you please recommend the best hydrating face mask? Well, I haven't found my ultimate hydrating face mask. I have one to show you that is quite good, and that is the Moisture Surge Overnight Mask. It is really hydrating, but there's a slight sticky texture, which I do find a bit annoying. I wouldn't necessarily have this all night. I would put a thick layer on for like an hour. And I did have the Fresh Rose mask that I learned about through LV Lover CC, but I'm out of it at the moment. I don't know, I might have it here in my empties. I do, because I'm going to do that as well next. So, oh no, that's the Sugar Polish. Well, it's in the same... Where is that mask? I thought it was in this batch of empties. Anyway, so fresh products. It looks very similar to this jar. So it's a glass jar with 125 grams of product, which is great. And it looks like marmalade. It's like a brownie orange jelly with bits of rose petal in it. It's a very kind of gel hydrating, not an oily hydrating. And it's refreshing and it's soothing. And that is a lovely mask. With fresh products, not as much as Lush products, but with fresh products, you do need to use them. It's no good if you've got like 10 masks that you rotate. I find fresh products, they are quite natural, and it's good to have it and use it up in the 6 months. But I really enjoyed that. I've even kept it in the fridge before, and you just put it on with a headband, getting your hair out of the way, and enjoy. I prefer masks that you put on rather than a sheet mask that are so cold and sticky when you first put them on. So those two I really recommend. But if anyone else has got any recommendations, they could put them down in the comments below. That would be great, because I'm always looking for things like that. I've just been experimenting with the Peter Thomas Roth masks. You can buy kits with small sizes because he does loads. There's like the gold, 24 karat gold mask. There are some other ones. There are a couple of hydrating ones in that range, and you can get them all on Cult Beauty. And you can get these small sizes to try out kits and things before you buy a big one. And I think there's a couple of nice hydrating ones in that range, but I haven't actually used them on my face yet. And we are done. That is the end. So I'm going to edit this all together and stick it up. I'm sorry about all the constant interruptions, but I just feel like that is what... I'm not going to edit them out because this is my life, and if the kids need something, then whatever. But I hope you enjoyed the answers, and if you have any thing you didn't really get my answers or you want clarification, just leave a comment down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hit that bell so that you know when I make a video, and please like if you enjoyed. I'll see you soon. Bye.